Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Shall we start?
Good evening, sir.
Yes, we can start.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening
Good
to
evening.
shall we start all.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, we can start.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M.K. Jairaj, Dr. K. Jayakumar, Head of the Department of Statistics, Dr. Manjula K. Head of the Department of Computer Science, Dr. K. Vishnu Nambudiri, Resource Person of this workshop, Dr. Sini P., the coordinator of this workshop, Dr. Preeti Kuttipalakal, Department of Mathematics, my colleagues, Dr. Raji, Dr. Prasad, Dr. Mubina, and dear participants. Around 500 participants registered in this workshop, of which more than 400 participants are from outside Kerala. Since we are not in a position to accommodate more than 100 participants in the Google Meet, we have scheduled a live stream on YouTube to watch the workshop. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to the workshop on technical writing with LaTeX. Before entering into my duty, I would like to say few words about LaTeX. In 1976, Professor Donald Knuth, an American mathematician and a computer scientist, became so disappointed with the inadequacy of typesetting mathematical articles as the publishers made many mistakes in his articles. So he decided to develop a good typesetting system, especially for typesetting mathematical and scientific articles. He took nearly 10 years to develop the mathematical and scientific typesetting language called TeX. TeX has changed the technology of typesetting mathematics and science publishing. The problem with the TeX was that it was focusing too much on details. For this reason, 2 years later, Leslie Lambert developed the markup language called LaTeX, which focuses on document structure rather than such details. The main objective of this workshop is to create awareness among young researchers, faculty members, and students about document writing using LaTeX. The workshop, Technical Writing with LaTeX, will be inaugurated by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M.K. Jairaj. When we approached him for inaugurating this workshop, without any hesitation, he agreed to accept our invitation, even though he has heavy responsibilities on his shoulders. I utilize this opportunity to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M.K. Jairaj sir, to this function. A hearty welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, I welcome Professor K. Jayakumar, Head of the Department of Statistics, and Dr. Manjula K., Head of the Department of Computer Science, to this function. They are always associated with us. Their presence makes us very happy. Next, I welcome Dr. Sini P., the coordinator of this workshop. She organized several workshops and seminars in the Department of Mathematics. She is always vibrant for conducting any such programs in the department. The resource person of this workshop is Dr. K. Vishnu Nambudiri. He received his PhD in 2009 from University of Hyderabad under the guidance of the well-known mathematician Professor Rajat Tandon. He has several research papers in reputed journals of number theory. He is also the recipient of the prestigious award K.V. Rao Young Scientist Award. He has 2 e-books in his credit. First, an introduction to Python and LaTeX, and second, Sage Math and LaTeX for undergraduate mathematics students. He has organized several software training programs. In short, he is a well-known mathematician and a computer wizard. At present, he is working as associate professor in the Department of Mathematics, Government College, Ambalappuzha in Kerala State. I welcome you, sir, in this workshop. Next, I welcome the organizing committee members, Dr. Raji, Dr. Preeti, Dr. Prasad, and Dr. Mubina. Finally, I welcome each and every member attending this workshop. Once again, I welcome each and everyone attending this workshop. I wish the workshop be successful and beneficial to all of you. Thank you, sir. I invite Dr. Preeti Kuttipalikal to deliver the presidential address.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Honorable Vice Chancellor, yes, sir. Respected resource person and chief guest of the day, Dr. Vishnu Nambudri, dear head of department, Dr. Kumar, my dear colleagues, my friend, a very good evening to all. Even if there are other the inauguration of the workshop on textual writing with LaTeX. So, for long years, so now software and it was an unavoidable uh, tool for researchers as well as students and faculty members. And this is used for especially for those who write when writing thesis or research papers or textbooks or many articles. This was a useful and very convenient tool, software for writing, especially mathematical writing. Now, when the course on LaTeX was introduced for the MSc Mathematics program of our university as a professional competency course, a training was needed for the faculties as well as students. And this time we have the eminent resource person, Dr. K. Vishnu Nambudiri. And as our head of the department said in his welcome speech, he's a very eminent personality with not only in the software LaTeX, in many of the softwares related to mathematics, Python, C++, and so many tools are very much familiar to him, and he is regularly giving training programs to faculty members and students. And he is also very instrumental in organizing nurture programs for students, training programs and workshops for teachers, and so on. You can in his profile. So anyway, we are lucky to have such a resource person for this program, and I take this opportunity to thank our organizers, Dr. Simi and Dr. Anil Kumar, for inviting for this. And with these few words, I invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor for the inner. Thank you for all the to all the participants. Sir, please.
Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Sir.
Yeah, good evening all. Dr. Preeti Kuttipalikal, President of the function, Dr. Anil Kumar, Dr. Jay Kumar, Dr. Manchula, Dr. Simi, Dr. Raji, Dr. Prasad, and Dr. Mubina, dear participants. Very good evening to all. First of all, I thank Dr. Vishnu Namburi for taking the pain and giving a workshop on technical writing using LaTeX. I understand that there is 500 applicants as participants. It shows the importance of this use of LaTeX, document processing. I had used in my research days word processing like KaiWriter. Then we changed to Microsoft Word and so on. One of the things which I noted using the LaTeX is the quality and aesthetics. Documents producing using LaTeX just look better. The fonts you get using LaTeX is the best one. And moreover, when you speak about mathematical equations, it becomes easier to use LaTeX than any other word processing softwares. Now it has become a mandatory that all the journals, most of them use the LaTeX version. So it is easier for both publishers as well as the authors to make the document through LaTeX. One of the good thing about using this LaTeX is when you use it for writing a thesis or writing a book, it's very easier to do the bibliography. Whereas when you use other word processors, it's when you change some of the references, it's become a huge task. Whereas it's very easy when you use LaTeX. Moreover, it can be run on any platform, whether it is Macintosh or it's any other open software-based operating system. You can use LaTeX. Only thing is, if you are used to some kind of word processor, you may feel a little bit difficult. You have to spend a little time in the beginning stage. But it's advantage even though you spend a little time during the initial stages of your use of this LaTeX. Later it becomes very easier when you become formatting, referencing, and when you give the titles and subtitles and so on. So one of the good things is once you set one title, the font size and everything, if you set it, the whole document follow the same pattern. So these are some of the very advantages of this using LaTeX when it comes to publishing, both for the author as well as the publisher. And when it comes to mathematical equations, there is no other word processing which has this capability of LaTeX. So to the students, I will request you that you spend a little time in the initial stage. Even there are many self-help which is available online. So if you make a point that you will prepare all the documents in future using only LaTeX, within 1 or 2 days you will become an expert in this. So make a point that you use LaTeX in future. And I am sure that this kind of workshop will introduce the students, and any clarification you require, they will be get from the experts. And this will be a stepping stone for your future research in publishing your papers as well as writing the thesis. I congratulate the organizers for timely choosing a topic which is relevant to all the students as well as researchers. With these words, I inaugurate this training program and wish all the participants all the best. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Hello. So next, let me invite Dr. K. Jayakumar, Head of the Department of Statistics, for felicitations.
Respected Honorable Vice Chancellor, Jairaj Sir, Dr. Preeti, Dr. Anil Kumar, Resource Person of the workshop, Dr. Vishnu Nambudiri, Dr. Manjula, Dr. Sini, Gadget Teacher, Dr. Prasad, and Dr. Mubina, and dear participants. I take this opportunity to congratulate the Department of Mathematics for organizing this workshop on technical writing using LaTeX. I hope that this event will be of very much useful to all the participants, and I wish the program all success. Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, let me invite Dr. Manjula K., Head of the Department of Computer Science, for felicitations. Teacher, please.
Yes. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. M.K. Jairaj, respected President of this function, Dr. Preeti, Dr. Anil Kumar, Head Department of Mathematics, Dr. Jayakumar, Head Department of Statistics, Dr. Sini, Coordinator of this event, Dr. Vishnu Nambudiri, esteemed guest resource person, faculty members, students, and dear participants. A very good evening to all of you. It's my pleasure to be part of this inaugural program on behalf of Department of Computer Science. On this occasion of workshop on LaTeX, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Department of Mathematics for organizing this program. LaTeX being a very efficient and convenient tool for scientific writing, a workshop on this would be highly useful for the researchers and academic community. On behalf of Department of Computer Science, I extend all best wishes for the success of this event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, Jairaj sir, for your inspirational talk. Thank you, Jayakumar sir. Thank you, Manjula. Next, let me invite Dr. Sini P. coordinate this workshop.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M.K. Jairaj sir, Head of the Department of Mathematics, Professor Anil Kumar sir, Head of the Department of Statistics, Jayakumar sir, Head of the Department of Computer Science, Dr. Manjula, our resource person, Vishnu Nambudiri sir, my dear colleagues and friends. Good evening to all. Now, we are at the end of the inaugural session of the workshop, Technical Writing with LaTeX. Now, on behalf of the Department of Mathematics, I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to propose a hearty vote of thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor M.K. Jairaj sir, for accepting our invitation and delivering the inaugural address in his busy schedule. Now, I would like to thank Dr. Preeti Kuttipulakal for presiding over this function, and Professor Jayakumar, Head of the Department, and Dr. Manjula, Head of the Department of Computer Science, for felicitating this program. Now I express my sincere gratitude to Dr. K. Vishnu Nambudiri sir for accepting our invitation as a resource person for next 15 days. Now I extend my sincere thanks to our HOD, beloved HOD, Professor Anil Kumar sir, for his continuous support and help. And I also thank my colleagues, Professor Raji Pilakat, Dr. Prasad, Dr. Mubina, and research scholars, students, and office staff for their support. Now we have around 500 registered participants from various states, and I take this opportunity to thank all the participants. And I am sure that after this, the successful completion of this workshop, you should be an you will be an expert in LaTeX. So thank you all. Now I invite Professor Vishnu Nambudiri sir for handling the session. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Hello, sir. One message, voice is not audible in live streaming. Okay, sir.
It's okay, sir. Otherwise, it is okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, please check for the messages there, and please let me know if it's still not sufficient. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. I will check.
Okay, so the name Donald Knuth. The story is something like this: that this Donald Knuth, the computer scientist, eminent computer scientist, one of the most.
Again, sir, I can't hear, sir, we can't hear your voice. Next message.
No. It will take some 10 seconds for coming into the effect, whatever I have increased.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Because it's not completely live. It's I think the 10-second delay is there by
Yeah.
what?
Okay.
I think it will take some 5 to 10 seconds for getting it actually corrected there on live stream.
It's now audible.
Is it okay? Okay, very good. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Now, the thing is that Donald Knuth, what happened is that there is a very classic book. I think the name of that book is Art of Computing. Okay, the Art of Computing. I think Donald Knuth released the first volume. The first volume of the book he released long back, and the quality of the output from the publisher, it was somewhat satisfactory for Donald Knuth. But what happened is that the time he released the second volume, second part of that book, the publisher completely changed that the font and all kinds of settings in his publishing system. So the printout came as somewhat not very. It didn't look that much beautiful for Donald Knuth. So he was really unhappy. What happened is that he thought that typesetting is nothing but it's a kind of setting fonts properly in such a way that the fonts finally look somewhat neat and decent. Therefore, Canute decided finally that as a computer scientist, he must be able to design his own typesetting system. Compared to an ordinary publisher who is not a technological person, he is just a person who is using this typesetting for his day-to-day living. Ronald Kanu thought that okay, I must be somewhat much more superior to this person. I must be able to design my own typesetting system using my own techniques. So he thought that within a short time he will be able to produce the what I call computer supported typesetting system. And he was actually thinking about finishing that typesetting system within a year or so. But what happened is that it took almost 10 years for him to complete that typesetting system under the name Tech. So tech, in the sense, I think technology and expert, these things are combined together. He coined these two words, and he produced the word tech. Instead of text, he called it as tech. And Kanuth is actually a really funny computer scientist. If you go into his web page, you will be able to see several interesting things. You will actually wonder that can a science person make this kind of funny statements here and there? Because usually science people are supposed or pictured to be very serious persons, but he is not exactly like that. Even though his words look to be serious, the kind of wit lying behind the words, you just go into its website and try to have a look at that. You'll be able to see that what kind of person he is. He's an amazing person. Okay, that's what about Donald Knuth. So the tech software was designed keeping two main goals in mind. So remember that whenever we are preparing a document, we are actually not experts in typesetting. We are experts in our own subject. For example, I may be good in mathematics, and someone else may be good in statistics. Some other person may be good in computer science, but he may not be good at all. He may be good in writing all his technical documents in his own words. But when he is trying to typeset certain things, he may not be that much a very good expert in that particular typesetting. The output that he is typing and producing may not look that good. but the content of that whatever he's producing will be really good. So the look and feel and content, these two are entirely different things. The content means that the inside content, that the thing that we want to convey, that will be great. But the way in which it's presented to others, that may not be that good. Okay, so tech was designed keeping in mind the goal that expert in a subject should focus only on his expertise in that particular area, not on typesetting. Typesetting, you leave it to an expert system, an external expert system. That system will take care of producing a very good quality output, and you just take care of giving the input. Input means that the input, the content, the results, your theory, your ideas. You just think about that only. You don't have to worry about how the output will look, how the article will look, how the book will look. You don't have to worry about that. That's the philosophy of tech. So, tech is the most popular means by which to typeset complex mathematical formulae. It can be typeset only using tech. It's not an exaggeration. It can be done only using tech. There is no other way. So, computer science, economics, engineering, physics, statistics, all these kinds of things are there. Now, what is LaTeX? Tech is actually the initial thing that Donald Knuth created. But after some time, what happened is that many people wanted to have a little bit more user-friendly thing compared to this tech. This is just like previously, if someone previously used this uh, mobile phone, not previously, I think most of us might have, except some youngsters, most of us might have started using mobile phones using that feature phone kind of thing, where some buttons are there here and there. So after using the buttons here and there, we shifted to something like a smartphone. Okay, so initially we were using this feature phones where we used to type, if you want to type some message, if you want to type ABC, then the button corresponding to A has to be pressed 3 times for getting C. Such difficulties were there. And after that, smartphones came, which made the use of texting and messaging much more easier. Just like that, so that the technology used in a smartphone is also something similar to this whatever is used in feature phone, but it has been made sophisticated. So, using the tech typesetting program, a sophisticated version called LaTeX was prepared later. And LaTeX now, it's again focusing on the same philosophy as that of tech. The most interesting thing is that in tech, you were supposed to write some extra things. Those extra things were got reduced in LaTeX. LaTeX became a little bit more easier. That's it. So if you do not want to go into the technicalities of what tech and LaTeX, you just understand that tech is a typesetting software and LaTeX is a little bit more user-friendly version of tech. Okay, that's it. So LaTeX, and the name, how did that LaTeX came is because of the originator of LaTeX is Leslie Lamport, from this law that and tech together, LaTeX. The current version of LaTeX is LaTeX 2e, and this has been running since I think 1990 or something like that. I don't exactly remember. I think at least for last 20 to 24 years, this has been the current version. So there have been only two versions, first edition as well as second edition. The third edition is running since 2000. Third edition is in experiment or construction since 2008, but it is still undergoing. It's still not completely published. So these are the legendary figures that we should look at: Donald Knuth, Leslie Lampert, and usually the icon for tech is considered to be this lion handling some books. Okay, now the question is that when MS Office, Microsoft Office, or LibreOffice Writer is there, then why should we use LaTeX? That's, of course, it's a sensible question, and especially considering the fact that LaTeX it's a kind of hill, whereas Microsoft Office is a kind of valley. You don't have to walk at all upward. Microsoft Office you can straight away start using, but for LaTeX you require workshops. That's the difference. For LaTeX, you require some workshops to understand, but for Microsoft Office, nothing is required. Straight away, you start using. Then why LaTeX? For learning LaTeX, you need to invest some time, of course, and most of our colleagues will be using Microsoft Office. Collaborative work in LaTeX is difficult. Collaborative work in the sense that if you have already used some collaborative work, then it is easy to understand. In Microsoft Office, there is a feature in which you can turn on the editing marks. Okay, you can turn on the editing history so that the other person, if you are typing a document or if you are editing a document and sending it back to some person, he will be able to see that what types of editing the other person have made. He will be able to either accept it or reject it in my MS Office. Such a thing is not there in LaTeX, was considered to be a difficulty. But now, these days, it's not exactly like that. We will be seeing it in our future courses. And word processors are easy to begin with, but LaTeX is not exactly like that. So bibliography, generating bibliography references, it's a little bit difficult compared to bit difficult in LaTeX compared to what you do in Microsoft Windows. But all these things actually make LaTeX look a little bit more unattractive compared to Microsoft Windows. Okay, this to be frank, LaTeX looks a little bit unattractive compared to Microsoft Windows or Microsoft or LibreOffice Writer. If you are using Linux, if you are using Ubuntu-based operating system, you will be using LibreOffice Writer these days. Previously, it was called to be OpenOffice Writer. Now it's LibreOffice Writer, equivalent of or clone of Microsoft Word in Linux. So tech is okay. All these things are there. Now we will explain that why in spite of having all these difficulties, all these allegations against LaTeX is still the most popular thing for scientific typesetting. We will explain why. But before that, going into that, how to get LaTeX. If you are using an Ubuntu system, I have kept this Ubuntu system on the top basically because this was probably developed. LaTeX was probably developed most probably in Linux based systems, Ubuntu based, Mint based, Fedora based systems. So installing it in Ubuntu, Mint, Debian is really easy. There is a software manager inside that operating system. Go to that software manager, search for the software called Tech Live LaTeX, Tech Live -LaTeX. And in addition, for getting extra functionalities, you need to install TechLive-LaTeX-recommended. So that's an extra module. And TechLive Math Extra. There are several extra modules that you can install directly from internet. Remember that LaTeX is a free software. You are not at all paying anything for LaTeX. Microsoft Word is not a free software. And some of us may be actually using this Microsoft Word as a free software. That is not actually as a free software. Most of the times it's as a pirated software. Okay, pirated software in the sense that it can happen that whenever Microsoft decides that you should not use the pirated software, if you are connected to internet, they will be able to simply stop it using it. Even otherwise, it's ethically also it's not a proper thing to use a pirated software in our system. But LaTeX is not like that. It's free to use, free to distribute, free to learn, free to engineer, free to modify. It's free in every sense. Okay, getting LaTeX in Windows. For getting in LaTeX in Windows, there is something called a big single installation file called protext.exe is there. Protext. So protext is actually the name of a package that's available in name of the package available in the site called CTAN. CTAN is it's a repository. Repository means that it's a collection software collection center kind of thing. You can think of it like that. There you can from there you can download this protext.exe. That's somewhat comparatively a big file. It was a huge file in olden days where 1 GB was a very big size. But these days 1 GB is not such a big size because 1 GB even in our mobiles, I think 1.5 GB is already available for it's available every day. So download protext.exe, double click on that file and follow the instructions. LaTeX will be completely installed. Now, and one more important thing about LaTeX is that for LaTeX there are actually three interfaces, three names that we should remember. So remember that whenever we are typing a Microsoft Word document, we are typing the software in one particular window. We will select that document, we will make it bold, we will apply these operations on that same window, and the output is also visible in the same window. We don't have to change they change the interface. But in LaTeX, it's not like that. In LaTeX, you need an editor for typesetting the document, a compiler for compiling the document. Compiling means that producing the output. A compiler for producing the output, and finally a viewer, PDF viewer for viewing the output. So these three things are actually different. So editing, compiling, and viewing. In Microsoft Word, all these things are happening in the same window. Okay, but in LaTeX, it's not like that. LaTeX requires three interfaces for three things. For typing, you need an interface. Compiling, you need another interface. and viewing you need a PDF viewer like Acrobat Reader or Ocular or something like that. Only the intermediate part, that compiling the code into PDF output, only that will be taken care of by LaTeX. LaTeX is the engine. LaTeX will take care of only the compiling part. Editing and typing you need to do using some other software. Viewing you need to do using an external software. Okay, so remember that LaTeX actually requires three parts. What is the first part? First part is the editor. Second part is LaTeX itself. First part, editor, is not actually a part of LaTeX. It's a different thing. Second part is the edit. Second part is the LaTeX software itself. Third part is a PDF viewer. So output will be always coming as a PDF output. Input will be a text file which we are typing. Intermediate thing will be taken care of by LaTeX. This is just like what you call a car. A car is having different parts. A steering is there, using which we interfere with using steering and accelerator. We interfere with the engine and tire. Okay, so we will be touching only steering and engine, but the inside steering and accelerator. But the inside actions will be performed by what you call the tire as well as the engine. Okay, and the output will be visible on the rod. We will be moving, just like more or something similar to this. So LaTeX is also something similar to that. There are three parts for a LaTeX installation: editor, LaTeX compiler itself, and a PDF viewer. Okay. So if you want to use it on your Android mobile, but still you need to be connected to internet. There is an Android application available in the internet that is known as VerbTech LaTeX editor. So if you are already using, if you are watching these things in your mobile, and if you want to try the commands that we are going to see in a short while, please try to install this VerbTech LaTeX editor, which is available free of cost from the Google Play Store. Okay, I think the same thing must be available for the Apple phones also. I'm not very sure about that because I don't have an Apple phone. I don't know exactly whether it's available or not. I guess that it must be available. So the thing is that for typing, you don't require internet connection in WebTech. But when you're trying to compile, the compiling means producing the PDF output. You need to be connected to the internet because WebTech will be connecting to internet for WebTech server. It will be connecting for producing the PDF output. Okay, so the editor only will be provided by Android Play Store, which is known as VerbTech LaTeX editor. Now, if you don't want to install anything, but you want to try it online, for example, if you are on a Windows machine where you don't have the time to install or you don't want to install for some reason, so there is an online editor called Overleaf. So this is one of the most popular options available for typesetting LaTeX online, Overleaf. Okay, and one of the best editors available, and this is comparatively comparable with whatever offline LaTeX editors that we can install in our machine, Overleaf. So for using Overleaf, what you should do is to just go to the overleaf.com website, register using your Google account, Gmail account, then start directly log into that system. You will be able to create. I will show you how to do that. If you are interested in doing it using Overleaf, I will show you how to do that. At least one example we will see using Overleaf. And another good thing is that it supports collaborative editing of LaTeX files. That means that suppose that you have typed a few things, you want your friend or your colleague to correct it. Then you can send a link of this Overleaf file which you have created your colleague. He can log in, and after that he can use that link to correct that file, edit that file online itself. Just like sharing a Google document. It's just equivalent to that. Now that's all about a very basic introduction about this LaTeX software and how to do LaTeX online as well as offline in Ubuntu or Mint or Fedora, Red Hat. You can do that by installing an offline version. In Windows, you can install protex.exe. In Android devices, you can install VerbTech, and you can try it online directly using the overleaf.com website. So these are certain options using which you can try this LaTeX. You can try to compile LaTeX. I hope that this much is clear to all of you. And if there is any question, if you want to ask me something related to these things, you may please ask now. I will be proceeding with the preparing a document using the Overleaf editor initially. And after that, I will be switching to another editor. I think I already told you that a name of one editor is Text Studio, TEXSTUDIO, which is one of the most popular LaTeX editors available in Windows as well as Linux. But I will be using another editor called Kyle, Kile, which is another popular and which is one of the most robust LaTeX editors available in for installing in your Linux or Windows machine. Or if there are any questions, please ask now. You don't have to wait for the end of the session for asking any question. In between itself, you can interrupt me and you may please ask, because otherwise, towards the end, you may forget what exactly your question was, and I may also forget that why I said something in some way. Okay, it's better to ask and clarify now itself before proceeding further. You may please think about your question. 1 minute, you may please just go through whatever I said now, and you may ask if you want to ask something. By the time being, I will go to overleaf.com and start showing that how to start a document in Overleaf.
Hello.
Okay, yeah.
Sir, there is a doubt in online YT streaming.
Online what?
In YouTube streaming, there is a doubt posted.
Okay.
Shall I share it?
Yes, yes.
The doubt is that when will we share the link for correction? Will the data be stored online? I think it is about overleaf. How could we share the document that we have created to someone else? Will it be
Yeah.
stored online?
Okay, okay, I understood. So, what is it being asked is, see, one thing is that for creating a data, of course, you can create as guest account is also possible in Overleaf, as well as registered account. Of course, free. Non-free accounts are also there with some additional features available for non-free users, premium users. You will be creating a document in your own account, and whenever you are giving a link to that particular document is edited, and that document is actually saved to the account of the creator. Suppose that I am creating a file. Suppose that I am creating a LaTeX file. I am sending the link of that LaTeX file in sharing mode to someone else. Some of my friend is X, say X is his name. So X will be able to log in when he is using the link that I sent. He will be able to see my file. That's my file, not your file. So he will be editing my file, and the data will be saved into my own account. But now the problem is that it is at the cost of losing the data that I have probably entered. He will be correcting it, and that correction, I don't really think that it's something that can be reversed. Okay, Microsoft Word, but the thing is that all these kinds of editings are saved in the same file, and you can go back to any of the revisions. That's quite possible, because Microsoft Word is not actually a text file. It is saving several hidden data also behind the actual file, so that you will not be knowing that what are the data saved behind. But LaTeX is actually saving it as a text file. So text file cannot keep simultaneously two data. So if one person is editing that data will be stored to the original file creator's account. Okay, the previous data will be completely lost. There is no way to retrieve it back. So sharing, it is in the not exactly in the same sense as that of Microsoft Word editing or sharing. It is in the sense that you will be able to share it, that person will be able to edit it, and you will be using, both of you will be using the same document. That's the only thing. And another thing is that if you are making changes, all these changes are going to be saved. Suppose that I am editing the file, someone else is also editing the file, both these changes are going to be saved, but one need to actually check that if you are making changes which are destructive, mutually destructive, then what will happen? You need to actually check. We need to actually check that. Okay, I will probably share one link with all of you so that we also can try what will exactly happen, maybe after some time. So the data will be stored in the person's account where this data is actually, where this data, where the file was initially created. I hope that I have clarified this thing.
Sir, there is one more query about the privacy of the document stored, whether the privacy will be preserved or not.
These things actually will happen only if you are using a premium account. If you are using an ordinary account, you are simply opening up the document to anyone, and anyone with the link can log in, and they can edit the file, and that file will be completely lost. So in such as, see, this is just like opening up a Google document. See, if you're opening up a Google document with the editing option open to everyone, okay, if you're opening the editing option to everyone, other, instead of sharing it with some selected people, what will happen is that that document will be completely open to everyone, and anyone can edit it, anyone can delete it. But if you are sharing Google document with someone, specifically with someone, then only they will be able to use it, they will be able to see it. Then in that case, privacy is protected among those people. But if you are using overleaf file, if you are not using a premium account, there is no guarantee of any such privacy. So academic document usually, hopefully, you will be sharing non-sensitive data is what we assume. Okay, and you will be sharing those link only with your own trusted colleagues who will not be passing it into some open people. That's what we usually assume. Okay. I hope that this overleaf search page is now visible to all of you. I will. Okay, I have not shared it. Okay, this is the overleaf. I have searched for overleaf in Google, and I can see that overleaf is here. So if I click on this overleaf, already there are several buttons available, like register using Google, register using org ID, etc., etc. So if I remember correctly, I have already registered using my email address. Therefore, I will be able to log in directly. No need to register is what I guess. Otherwise, I don't think that there is a guest account possible. These are the features and benefits. If you really want to try it, then for writing, a free account is of course there. So whoever is watching this, if you do not have an already installed LaTeX available in your machine, I suggest that you register now itself. If you are already logged into your Google account, registration will not take more than 1 minute. Simply give a username, password, and register. That's it. And or you can log in. Anything is possible. Let me log in. Uh, I think I have. Just 1 second. I'm logging in because I have already created an account. So you will be able to see a screen like this: new project, all projects, your project, shared with you, etc. See here in shared with you, you will be able to see the links that have been already shared with you using your overleaf account. Now nothing is already there, so instead of that, you are using free version of, you can upgrade. You can upgrade means that definitely you will be seeing personal account, collaborator account, all these kinds of things are there monthly, annually. But for at present we probably do not require any of these things, so we can simply go back to the main screen. Suppose we start a new project here, then blank project, example project, upload, import, academic journal, book format, letter, lot of things are there. And mostly, if we start with a blank project, okay, we can start with a blank project. There is no problem. Start with a blank project and give the name as LaTeX, something. Some name I'm giving. So I have created, it loads. So here automatically certain things are coming. This is not actually a very good thing for one to learn LaTeX, because you will not know that exactly what are the things that you have typed to start, supposed to start at the beginning. A few commands. I don't know whether the font size is legible to all of you. I will increase it anyway. So if we increase, I will hide the PDF. So on the top, we can see that there are certain commands already appearing here. Some of these commands are not really that necessary. Initially, we can probably forget about these things. I'm just deleting these things. So I am retaining only 3 commands. Okay, I'm retaining only 3 commands. On the left side, I can see that main.tex is the file name appearing on the left side. On the top, we can see that document class article. You can see that begin document is there, another command. So these commands, so the most important commands that are required in to start a LaTeX document, these are the 3 commands: document class, article, begin document, and end document. So document class article simply tells that we are going to typeset an article. So what do you mean by an article? An article is a short document. Okay, an article is supposed to be a short document. Remember that in the case of Microsoft Word, we do not actually have this type of a document class declaration required in the beginning itself. Basically, because in the case of Microsoft Word, we will simply start typing a software, we simply start typing a document. That document may be an article, maybe it's a book. We don't know what type of document exactly we are typing. But what is the difference between these documents? So what exactly is the difference between if you are using if you are using an article, or if you are using a book? What is the difference between these documents? We are anyway typesetting. Why should we declare? Why should we declare that this is actually going to be something? So this type of document we are going to create. Why should we inform? So that is one important thing about LaTeX. When you are typesetting a document in LaTeX, LaTeX tries to understand certain things about the document. For example, if it is an article document, as I already told you, that this is a simple document in which there will not be any chapter, part, etc. Some small sections will be there. But if you are typesetting a book, okay, if you are typesetting a book, There is something very important, very interesting about book. If you have already observed, I don't know. Can somebody tell me that in the case of a mathematics textbook, if you have already seen, mathematics textbook, chapter will start on which page? Left or right? Can somebody tell? In a usual mathematics textbook, if you have already seen, if you remember, usually we don't really care about these things. We will simply read. Okay, chapter usually starts on the right side of the book. Right side of our right side, actually, not right side of the book. If the book is kept on our table, if we have kept it open, the chapter will be starting on the right side. Okay, so chapter will be starting on the right side. And one more thing is that, so if you have prepared a book, then you are actually supposed to take a printout of that book, and you are supposed to bound it. Bounding in the sense that using some pasting things, you are supposed to apply some binding, right? Not spiral binding, hard binding. Book means hard binding. So if you are hard binding, the right side of the left page, the hard binding will happen on the right side of the left page and left side of the right page. So if you are preparing a book, then a right side of the left page must have more margin, and left side of the right page must have more margin. So this is very important, right? If you're trying to prepare a professional document, this you have to remember. But who should remember? Are we going to take care of these things? Like we don't know that which page is going to be the left side, which page is going to be the right side, which is the even page, which is the odd page. We don't exactly know. We may not be remembering. We need not remember. So LaTeX will take care of these things. You don't have to worry about these things. LaTeX will take care of these things, and LaTeX will automatically arrange. If you declare the document to be, if you declare the document to be a book, then LaTeX will automatically take the right side margin of the left page and left side margin of the right page to be more comparatively to the other margins. That's why we need to declare that whether it's a book or not. That's one reason. Okay, so LaTeX takes care of all these small things which we usually don't remember while preparing a document. But in Microsoft Windows, Microsoft Word, no such things are usually there. We don't really care about it. That's another thing. That's another important thing. So that is why we have to initially declare that whether the document class is a book or not. Another thing is, in the case of a book, as I already told you, the chapter usually starts on the right page. But in the case of a project report, suppose that we are preparing a project report, the chapter, it is because it's going to be a one-sided document mostly. It's a one-sided document. Therefore, everything will be on the right side only. Therefore, it can start on the right. Any page can be started. Therefore, if you declare it to be a report, then it's going to be spiral bound. Another thing. So all these things we should. Sorry. So all these things we need to remember while preparing a document. Okay, this is something that we need to really remember while declaring the document class. Document class declaration, of course. The important thing is that even if you declare a document class to be article, you may later change it to report, or you may change it later to book, or you may change it later to several things. But the thing is that there are certain specific commands applicable to only book document class. If you have used those commands inside your document, you may not be able to convert it back to article so easily. You need to change those commands specifically. So it is better to decide in the beginning itself that what type of document you are going to prepare. So in this case, suppose that the simplest document is going to be article document. Suppose that we prepare an article document. Therefore, we declare document class to be article. See that all these letters are in lower case, small letter. Okay, all these letters are in lowercase. Therefore, you are not supposed to use uppercase in any of these. LaTeX is case sensitive. LaTeX commands are case sensitive. Wherever lowercase letters are required, only lowercase letters are to be used. Wherever uppercase letters are required, only uppercase letters are to be used. Wherever mixture of these things are required as defined by LaTeX, mixture needs to be used. We need to remember this. Now, after document class, there is a gap that is not actually necessary. We may delete it, but let us keep it. This area, this particular area that between document class and begin document, we will be inserting certain extra commands whenever required, but that to that we will come back later. So after that, we are beginning the document. Begin document means that we are the instruction to start the document. We are going to start typing the actual material. Now we may type whatever we want to type inside the begin document and end document. So suppose that I am typing, this is my first document. Okay, for the ease of copying and pasting, I will open a Google document. I will copy and paste the thing into a Google document so that you also can copy paste instead of typing all these things. You may copy paste whatever I am typing. That'll be much more easy. Let me start a new Google document. I will share the link of that Google document after that. Let me share. I have prepared a Google document. I will share it in the Google this chat. So this is a document that in which I will be copying and pasting all the commands that I am typing here, so that it will be easy for you to, if you are trying it, it will be easy for you to copy paste the command and try. Maybe you can make some certain modifications also here and there. Please see if this document is accessible to you, not for editing but only for copy pasting. So have anyone tried this document? Okay. So
Yes, sir.
yeah.
That is acceptable.
Okay, it is accessible. So if it is accessible, I suggest you to just open an Overleaf account if you have not already done that. So after that, I'm going to paste this to the document. 1 second. So I have pasted it. On the top, you can see that I have given some percentage sign, percentage sign, percentage sign, first.tex. That is basically because, okay, I will rename this to first.tex. I prefer the first.txt to be the file name. So whenever you are typing something after the percentage symbol, only one percentage symbol is more than enough. If you put a percentage symbol and if you type something, that will be completely ignored by the LaTeX engine, because this is supposed to be, this is known as a comment in LaTeX. Comment means that you may be typing some extra commands here and there, and you will be having something in your mind while you're typing this command. But suppose that you want to inform, if you, suppose that after some time only you are looking at this file and you may not remember that why you have typed this command, and this is just for that. So this is actually helpful indication that what exactly why you are typing, or otherwise you may type that what this document is. This is a sample document. So these kinds of comments can be, comment is always a one line thing, percentage, and after that you type whatever you like. So until you press an enter key, everything everything coming after that will be interpreted as a comment, which means that no effect on the final output. So it can be kept even before the document class article, no problem. And one more thing is that whatever you are typing after this, This also will not have any effect. So after end document, whatever you are typing will be completely ignored. Now, once I type these things, suppose that I'm compiling. How do I compile? So for compiling, okay, I need to just click to show the PDF. Yeah, here there is a recompile because by default Overleaf will be compiling it in real time. So recompiling is not actually necessary. You can see it here. There is a plus button. So see that whatever I have typed previously, like document class, first.tex, all these things are not at all appearing, or none of these things are appearing here. After the end of the document, that is also not appearing. Only this is my first document is appearing. Okay. So that means that whatever you have typed in between begin document and end document will be appearing in the final file. And this is the only line meant for the final output. Everything else is meant for this begin document actually instructs begin the document. Document class instructs saying that this is the this document. This document is falling in the class of article. End the document means that stop processing. No more processing after this line. So this line is completely ignored. You keep it or you do not keep it, there is no effect at all. That's it. This is the very first. This is the very first. When you save it, if you press Ctrl S, it will be compiled. So when you save it, it will be compiled automatically, and the output will be appearing on the right side as a PDF file. You may download this as a PDF file from here. If you want, you may download it. You may download the file, and it's already downloaded. That's it. If you want to make it into full screen, everything, there are several options here. You may do several things here. You may just click on these buttons and you can see. This is the very first and this is the simplest LaTeX document one can produce. Remember that a simplest LaTeX document requires basically 3 commands: document class, begin, end. That's it. This is the first document. Okay. Now, we will be using this document for preparing another document which is a little bit more robust, which has more options. Okay, that's what we want to do now. And one interesting thing about LaTeX is that LaTeX is that the LaTeX word itself, if you have observed previously, you might have already seen that I have typed LaTeX in the following way: L capital on the top of this overleaf window itself. You can see the L is in capital, T is in small, and X is in L is capital, A is small, T is capital, E is small, and X is again capital. So, the word LaTeX actually appeared in my presentations in a special way. So that is actually created using, this is my, I will slightly modify it. That is actually created using a command called LaTeX. So the command needs to be typeset in the following way: LaTeX space. Space is important. I'm updating the Google document. If you're trying, you can try it yourself. So I have updated the Google document. Okay, let me try to compile that. Once I save it, if I press Ctrl S, it will be automatically compiled. You can see that on the right side, what's appearing on the right side. See, whatever I have typed is appearing in a different format. I typed L, A small, T capital, E small, X capital. But here, A is appearing again as a capital, but as a little bit different. See, this font is entirely changed. And one more observation: if you are if your eye is strong enough, if you have a publisher's eye, I would like to say, then you can observe one more thing. Can you compare this and this and find some difference? Okay, I will make it. Yeah. See, this much here and here it is. What are the differences that you observe? See, if you're trying to prepare a research document, your eyes need to be that much powerful because I think if you have already tried to publish, especially if you are a researcher, if you have already tried to publish in a decent journal, many a times the reviewer of the journal might have given you a message saying that a certain punctuation marks are missing here and there, certain spaces are appearing here and there, which is not required, or certain spaces are not appearing here and there. The journal reviewers are very particular about all these things: punctuations, spacing, unnecessary spacing, required spacing missing. So, can you say something if something is missing from this in the output, which is present in the input? See, you can see that. See, here there is a space. A space is given here, right? A space is given here, but that space is missing here. That is because this is a LaTeX command. Okay, this is a LaTeX command, and the space immediately proceeding after LaTeX command will be completely swallowed by the LaTeX machine. It will be digested completely. Okay, the space will be digested. Space will not be considered at all. It will be swallowed. That's why the space is missing. So if you want to keep that space there, you need to put an extra backslash. Sorry, that's selected. That's why it got deleted. Put a backslash. Okay, backslash in the sense that it's preserve that space. You can probably so after a command, if you are putting a backslash, it simply means that preserve the space coming after. Compiling and getting a space. The space is now there. Now tech also can be typeset like this. Tech is the original version. Even here, you will be seeing that the space is missing. So once again, put a backslash. This is not slash. Slash is divided by. This is backslash. Okay, let me update the Google document here. Done. Google document is updated. You may copy paste if you like. Okay, is there anyone who is typing these things along with me in Overleaf or somewhere else? Otherwise, I can go a little bit faster. Or is the pace of these things is quite okay, or should I move faster?
I think it is okay, sir. The page is
Okay, I'm going a little bit probably slow, basically because I'm thinking that if someone is trying these things in Google document, copying from Google document to Overleaf, they require some time for trying with these things. Because if I keep on saying different commands, you will not be able to easily follow that. That's why I'm slowing it down.
yeah, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So this is about a very simple document in LaTeX, and there are certain minor things that you need to actually understand from this document. Even though these are minor documents, while you are preparing your research article or question paper or a document, these things will be somewhat puzzling to you. Okay, I'm going to type something extra here in the first document itself. One more line. I'm going to copy paste this to save some typing. Compiling. I will reduce the size a little bit so that you can easily see. See, if you, okay, one more line, a few more lines I will keep so that you will be able to easily understand the structure of that. Maybe I will change the sentence, otherwise it will be looking like another line. Nothing very serious. I'm just copying. I'm just typing and pasting something um, to make the paragraph look a little bit bigger. I'm updating the Google document. Updated the Google document. So if someone is copying this, they may copy and paste. Okay. Now, from this document, we need to look at the output and observe a few things. So the few things are, see that in the beginning of this is the paragraph. Okay, a new paragraph is created here. The beginning of the paragraph, some space is automatically left. So this is my first LaTeX document is starting after some space from the left margin. That is because by default there is something known as indentation in LaTeX. Indentation. So paragraph starts only after leaving some space. This is not there in Microsoft Word. Remember that this is not there in Microsoft Word. Second thing, the next line onwards, that spacing is not at all there. Indentation is not there. So, beginning of the paragraph giving some space as indentation is automatic, is default. Okay, that's one thing. And another thing, the paragraph is completely justified. You may see that the paragraph is completely justified. It's not neither left aligned nor right aligned. I am talking about the output, not about the input. Output. The paragraph is completely justified here. See, beautifully justified. But justified, it's not by, in the case of Microsoft Word. So, how will this justification happen in the case of Microsoft Word? So, what will happen is that some blank space will be put in between words for making it stretch along the line. Okay, but here it is not exactly like that. Here, not very important. This line you may see, not very important. This word is broken here. Important word is broken. But who told LaTeX to break that? LaTeX understands that this is actually the correct position to break that. Important. It didn't break after impo. It took R also. So LaTeX has certain rules by which it knows that how to break, where to break words. It has a set of dictionary hyphenation rules are there. This is known as hyphenation. So automatic hyphenation is there, because of which words are broken carefully in such a way that the justification of the paragraph takes place neatly. Okay, justification of the paragraph takes place neatly. Okay, second paragraph, let me try. Starting. Another paragraph. Saving. But see that even though I have pressed the enter key, deleted, press the enter key. Even though I have pressed the enter key, that enter key is not at all effective in the output. The output is still starting on the same line. This is because single enter key is completely ignored by LaTeX. Single enter key is ignored by pressing single enter key is ignored by LaTeX. Pressing enter key twice, that will ask LaTeX to start a new paragraph with indentation. So remember, one enter key means that no effect. Two enter keys means that start a new paragraph. Please try this if you are trying it in your own overleaf account or somewhere like that. Okay, so is this clear that a single enter key will not have any effect? I will show you another interesting thing. A word, space, 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 space. I have given a few extra spaces. Another word, compiling it. But can you see the number of spaces that I have put here is not coming into effect here? Okay, so the philosophy number two, the initial philosophy was that one enter key will be ignored, two enter keys will be taken as one paragraph, and three enter keys also there is not much there is no difference. Two or more enter keys will be taken as a paragraph, generating a new paragraph. One enter key will be ignored. So one or more spaces, if you give one or more spaces, that will be taken as one space or more space. A word, one, two, three, four. One space or more space. There is no difference. So even if you give five spaces, that will be completely ignored. If you give one space, that will be taken care of. If you give two spaces, that will be treated as one space. If you give three spaces, once again will be taken as one space only. So more than one space is always one space. More than two enter keys is always one paragraph. That's the logic here. Okay, so these are some simple things that we should understand while preparing a LaTeX document. That the enter key is how spacing is managed in LaTeX. So spacing is managed in this way. That one enter key, two enter key, all these things are handled in different ways. Okay, that's very important thing that we need to understand that why it's happening like that. Now there is possibly one question that suppose that we want to give some space, extra space between paragraphs. See what is actually the logic behind treating more than one enter key to be more than two enter key to be exactly two enter keys. The logic is that usually whenever we are typing a document, we don't have to break a line. Breaking the line means that uh, on whatever line you were keeping on typing, come to the next line. That's what's meant by breaking line. So usually we need to break the line only if you are going to a new paragraph. Otherwise, why should we break the line? Breaking the line is not at all necessary otherwise. Okay, that's the logic. And another thing, suppose that you are giving two spaces, but why should we give two spaces? We want to give space to separate words. The space is used in a sentence to separate words, but it is not actually natural to give more than one space to separate words. So LaTeX is actually trying to protect us. LaTeX is trying to see. Another thing is, if you are pressing three enter keys, we may not actually remember. And one more thing. Suppose that we have typed up to here. Suppose that you have typed up to here. There is no way in which you can understand whether the starting is actually if the starting happened on the next line. Is it because you press the enter key, or is it because this line has come to an end? That's why one enter key is completely ignored. Okay, one enter key is really difficult to identify whether you have actually pressed the enter key or not. But two enter keys can be definitely identified because there will be a blank space definitely. That's why two enter keys is given as the command for creating a new paragraph. This is actually a command. To enter key means it's a command for creating a new paragraph. Now, giving one space is quite natural. We may want to give one space, but if you are giving two space or three space, two space we will not be able to easily identify whether we have given the space or not. Our eyes are not that powerful, so we will sometimes forget to notice that we have given some extra space. LaTeX is there to help you in that situation. LaTeX will automatically remove the extra spaces and it will it will take only, accept only one space. Okay, these are some common rules related to spacing and generating new paragraphs. Now, there can be a situation that See, whenever a paragraph is created, the problem is that whenever paragraph gets created, indentation automatically happens. Indentation automatically happens. Now, suppose that you want a paragraph without indentation, what will you do? So, for that, you need to indentation is the default in Microsoft Word. Indentation, no indentation is default. Not having indentation is default. But here, indentation is default. That's the difference. Okay, between Microsoft Word and LaTeX, one major difference is that in Microsoft Word, indentation is not the default behavior. Automatically, it won't give indentation. But in LaTeX, indentation is automatic. Automatically, it will appear. So, in this way, what will happen is, if you want to suppress indentation, I'm just typing something. Indentation. What is the spelling? I don't know. Indentation. Okay. I'm copying and pasting again and again to make it into a full paragraph. Compiling. Remember that I have given 2 spaces here. Now updating the Google document. Starting another word. I'll copy paste the entire thing. Okay. Compiling. You may say that the indentation is there, definitely there. Now, suppose that you don't want this indentation. So, as I told you, in the case of LaTeX, indentation is default. So, if you don't want indentation, you need to clearly tell that. You make explicit statements. No indent, but give a space after that. Remember that the space after any command will be completely ignored. That will be swallowed by LaTeX. So, no indent is the command that we should use for suppressing the default indentation. No indent, that is space. Indent. Sorry, that command is wrong. See that that's completely taken away. The indentation is taken away. This is how we can suppress indentation. Okay. So this is the way. In this way, we have started a new paragraph, but the indentation is not there. Now, sometimes it may be necessary that we need to actually go to the next line, but without starting any new paragraph. For example, suppose that in between we want to quote something. In between we want to quote something. Okay. So I'm starting a new paragraph, and I will show you what exactly I mean. Some important what should I some districts in Kerala are. So we want to appear the output in the next line, but not as a new paragraph. So in that case, we need to break the line or line break or new line, double backslash. Again, I want these district names to appear on a different line. Compiling. See that this is indented, but next thing, even though it has gone to the next line, it is not indented. So this is known as a line break command or new line command. double slash, double backslash in fact. Okay, so this is how we break a line without requiring a new paragraph to start. So if you are breaking the line like this, no new paragraph will not be started. Therefore, there is no indent required. So this is simply line break and go to the next line. Okay. Most of the times, this is actually not a very good practice in LaTeX. This is not considered to be a very good practice in LaTeX that break the line forcefully. Okay, we are breaking the line forcefully here, but that is not something actually we require in LaTeX. So this is not actually the practice that we usually do in LaTeX, because for creating several constructs like equations and all these things, LaTeX itself provides a mechanism without using this line break. So this is not something that we usually require, but we may require this sometimes. That's why I'm saying this. Sometimes these things may be required. That's why I'm just introducing these things. So this is about what you call now. Yeah, I was telling that in the beginning itself that if you give one space or more than one space, that will be treated as one space. Okay. And one more thing is that if you press two enter key or more than one enter key, more than two enter key, it will be treated as two enter keys. But suppose that in between we want to introduce some space in between paragraphs, some extra space. Suppose that we want to introduce some space in between words other than one space. So what is the technique? What is the technique that we can use in that case? What type of command we can use for giving extra space there? Okay, for that I will start a new document, saving this document. This document I have completed. Next document is all about providing spacing. Okay, providing spacing. So I'm going to start a new document. So how do I do that? Just go to the left side. Of course, you can type in the same document, but I do not want to do that because I want to create different documents for different purposes, so that we can easily identify at the end that in which document what we have done, and for corresponding to each and every major feature there will be a single document. That's the kind of way in which we will be proceeding. Okay, so let me give the name as spacing. See that on the left side, I clicked on new document. I'm giving the name spacing.tex. That tex is the default extension. I'm just typing spacing there. I think there was a question about creating presentations. About presentations and all these things towards the end only we will come. So I'm not explaining about presentations right now. We will be focusing on article class, introduce some major features here. After that, we will try to see that how to make use of the presentation class, because presentation class is something special. After preparing your document, you may want to present something. So preparing the document initially will be given a focus in the beginning, and after that we will come back to that. Okay, so next document is spacing. I'm switching to that. There is nothing given here, so I need to probably, I can either copy paste whatever I have given in the beginning there, begin document, and end document. Maybe I will give the document name also on the top. So a new file I'm starting. So the question is how to give spacing. Okay, for giving spacing inside the begin document, so I'm going to give 3 cm. If I want to give 3 centimeter spacing or 1 centimeter. So remember that usually in the case of Microsoft Word, we will be pressing one space bar once to get one space. but we don't know what type of space we are getting. 1 character space we are getting, or 1 inch space we are getting, 1 centimeter, 1 millimeter. What exactly we are getting is not very clear. But here we need to explicitly say that how much space you want to give. Explicitly, you need to make the statement that how much space you want to give. So the command we need to use is h space. H space in curly brace. Give 1 cm, and after that word after 1 cm, just typing something, compiling. So this is how we give space between words. Now, instead of 1 cm, we can actually use 1 inch also, if you prefer. 1 mm. I don't know whether 1 mm is applicable there. I am not very sure about that. Let me see. Or 10 mm must be equal to 1 cm. Yes, is also available, and maybe 1 inch is another. Compile. So these are the ways to give spacing. H space stands for horizontal spacing. So if you are careful enough, we can now observe that for giving vertical spaces, what do we require? For giving vertical spaces, what do we require? So just like H space, you need to give V space for vertical space. Let us see if it will work like this. But for that, you need a paragraph, right? You are going to separate paragraphs. So you need to generate a paragraph. Generating paragraph means, okay, let us see with one enter key. No, it doesn't come because you have not generated a paragraph. Now, yeah. Now you have generated a new paragraph. See this? So this is how, and once again, 1 inch we can give, and what you call 1 inch is possible, or 1 centimeter, 1 millimeter. All these kinds of measurements are possible. Now, one more important thing. Suppose that so, do you see any effect of this H space command here? Okay, I will copy paste this first. I'm copying and pasting the entire thing once again, so that if someone is trying, they may try it on their own overleaf document. Copied and pasted. Maybe I will put a page break also, so that it will be automatically going into the next page. Page break. Yeah. Okay, what I wanted to actually convey is this H space 1 centimeter. It doesn't actually look like giving any effect here. That is basically because H space used in the beginning of a line will not give any effect. So instead of that, maybe we should try to use H space star. This is basically because at the beginning of the paragraph, see, if you are giving some space towards the end of the line may actually go into, or the word may go into the next line. And if it goes to the next line, the spacing may not be actually necessary. So you need to explicitly tell that even if it's going to the next line, the beginning of the next line itself, I need a space. So you need to clearly tell. So all these kinds of mechanisms, all these kinds of checks are applied in LaTeX basically to protect the user from accidentally giving spaces, accidentally keeping some unwanted spaces, which may result into a document that doesn't look really nice. Okay, so avoid unwanted space, avoid unwanted line breaks. That's the logic here. So if you really want, you see, if you're declaring that backslash h space star 1 centimeter you really want, then you clearly know that you are going to put space in the beginning of the line itself. So if you really know that what exactly you are doing, LaTeX will not actually stop you from doing that. Okay, LaTeX will not stop you from doing anything that's actually that you actually want to do. So in such a situation, you can apply your own command, you can use your own command, and you can do whatever you like. Okay, that's the logic here. So this is about horizontal spacing and vertical spacing, and these are the two commands you actually require. And in the same way, if you if you want to, if I told you already that you can break a line and go into the next page and go into the next line. Suppose that you want to break a line and go into the next page, break a page and go into the next page. Then what should you do? So for that, you need to use a new page command. Breaking the page, new page, now into the next page. You may say that this line is in the next page. Updated the Google document to try that. Okay, now what we wanted to see is, suppose that we give some space. Suppose that we give some space here. V space 3 cm. Suppose we try. We can see see, another important thing to see here is that there is a page number. Okay, there is a page number here. You can see that page number is automatically appearing here. Page number 1 and page number 2. So LaTeX, this is another default thing, that page number by default appears, but in Microsoft Word this is not the case. In Microsoft Word, page number does not appear automatically. Okay, in Microsoft Word, page number you need to insert manually, but here it's not like that. Of course, there are different ways to modify this page number, change the style in which the page number is appearing. All these things actually can be done, but we will not go into that right now. We will go into that later. So what I wanted to say is, when we are giving v space 3 centimeter at the beginning of the page, so that this new page command actually breaks the page and you go to the next page. But if you are going to the next page, and if you are putting this vertical space command, that command is actually, it's turning out to be useless. This is basically because you might have issued, see here we have forcefully issued a new page command. You might have issued a vspace command towards the end of a page without understanding that that vertical space is going into the next page. Okay, so in that case, you need to clearly, specifically say that we are really intending to put a vertical space in the beginning of the page itself or top of the page itself. So put a star. Combine. Now it has come down. See that. File. Compile. So that it has come down. So vspace star is the command that we should use for putting vertical space when you want to put the vertical space towards the top of a page, top of a new page. This is very important. That vspace sometimes you will put will not have any effect otherwise. Okay, I think that's all about spacing in LaTeX. We can control spaces like this, and about margins and all these things we will come back later, because that's all about controlling the page layout. This is not about controlling spacing in between the text. That's completely different. Now we will go into something like changing the font sizes. Okay, we will see that what are the different types of fonts that we can actually have in LaTeX. So let me start a new document here, new file. So I will give the name as font size. I'm creating a new file. Let me copy paste. Okay, in document. So you can see here that we have not specified any font size anywhere here. In Microsoft Word, if you are typing a document, you may see that on the top some fonts are listed like Arial, Times New Roman. In these days, the newer fonts are, I think, what is the font? Calibri, I think that's one font, and Caladia, I think something similar to that is another font. These type of fonts are available in Microsoft Word. And font sizes, you can select text and you can change the font size from, by default, some 10 or 11 will be appearing, and you can change it to 12, 13, 14, or 9, 8 extra like that coming down. But in LaTeX, specifying the font size can be actually done in two ways. One is that you can specify something known as a base font size. Remember, base font size. Okay, so 10 pt. In pt it's specified in square bracket after document class. Okay, the space that font size, document font size is specified along with document class in square bracket as 10 pt. The document name is font size. Updated the Google document. Now, uh, sorry, just 1 second. Okay, so we were trying to give font sizes. Okay, here I will type something to see that the font size. This is for demonstrating font sizes in. Okay, I have typed something like this. Saving. This is for demonstrating font sizes in LaTeX. Okay. Now, okay, updated the Google Sheet. Now let me change it to 11 pt or 12 pt. 11 or 12, whatever. It's very difficult to identify whether it has actually gone up or not because 10 pt, 11 pt, 12 pt. It's if you are not taking the printout of that thing, it's difficult to identify whether the font size has actually increased or not. If you are looking at only on the screen, everything looks the same. Let me just try once again. Okay, it anyway looks as if it has increased, slightly increased. So, along with the document class, you can specify font sizes like 10 pt or 11 pt or 12 pt. By default, that's it. If you don't use any extra features of LaTeX, that's it. So, but these font sizes are not enough for us. We actually want more font sizes, right? These font sizes are quite limited for us, and it will not actually serve the purpose for us. Sometimes we may want to increase the font size, but LaTeX basically assumes that why do you need larger font sizes? One possibility is that for creating sections, for creating section headings, for creating subsections. Okay. Otherwise, changing the font size is not actually necessary. If you do not want to create sections or if you do not want to make titles, changing the font size is not really necessary. But if you really want, without creating any sections, without creating any titles, if you still want to increase the font size, there are certain extra commands. I will show the commands one by one. So initially, let us make larger and larger fonts. So the usual font is known as normal font. Remember that here we have given 12 pt. 12 pt we will call as the base font size of the document. Okay. Now we are trying to make something larger than the base font size. Larger. Okay. Large. Text. Large. You see this? How did I type this? So start at the curly brace. Use the command \large. Give one space. Text large is something type. I'm copying and pasting the Google document for you to try. Let us see. But for seeing if it's a large document, we need to actually check normal document without this large command. Text normal. I'm typing text normal also along with that to see the difference between these two. Otherwise, it will be difficult to identify. For our uh, usual eyes, it's difficult to identify if it has actually become large or not. Okay, now we can see that this has actually become large. See that this is the normal font size and this is the large font size. This has actually become large. Now, okay, is that all? No, we can have again on the same line I'm typing, but since the spacing is not very much, it's appearing on the next line. Instead of large, capital L. That's another command. Compile. You can see that text normal, after that text large, after that text capital large. This is the third command. This is the second command. Now you will be asking, is that all? No, that's not all. Text large. See the difference. So initially we have everything small letter, then capital L, then everything capital letter. Now, again the question, is that all? The answer is no. Text huge. I have copied and pasted this to Google document. Now, again, if you ask, is that all? No, still. But remember that the structure of the command. So, to whatever text you want to apply this huge command, you need to start with the curly brace. Then you need to modify. You need to take it like this. Okay. Start with the curly brace. Then take it to the other side. Take it to so just before the starting of the command, you need to put this curly brace, and wherever you want to apply this huge text, you need to put the curly brace after that. Now the next is huge. H capital. So is that all? What about the last possible one? The last possible one is everything capital. And you can see that undefined control sequence. So what is meant by undefined control sequence? Undefined control sequence simply means that this huge command, everything capital, there is no such command called huge. So this is not correct. This is wrong. Only up to here. So large fonts can be made using these different commands. So I will show you once again without using that normal etc. So that for you to easily identify the size comparison you can easily make. Maybe I will put a new line here. I will remove this large word also from here so that you can easily identify the size. I can easily make comparisons between the sizes. Large. I'm just moving it to the next line so that it's easy for us, our eyes to understand what kind of spacing, what kind of size we have got. No indent basically because you see this. I have updated the Google document. If you want to try that, you may copy paste. Okay, and this is all about one interesting thing, one important thing. If you compare with the Microsoft Word feature, is that in Microsoft Word, instead of specifying large, etc., you usually specify the font size. But specifying this font size is not very what do you call it, sensible. It doesn't seem to be sensible because we are not publishers, we are not professionals in typesetting. So by what do you actually mean by specifying the font size? What we actually know is when we are typing a document, there will be a normal font size. In addition to that, sometimes we may want a large font size compared to the normal size. Sometimes we may want a larger font size. Sometimes we may want a huge font size. But other than that, how do we know that whether we require 19-point size or 15-point size or 24-point size? That making the size, comparing the size by number is not something that non-professionals should do. That's the philosophy of LaTeX. LaTeX believes in the philosophy that you simply say that you want a large font or larger font. That's it. So large and larger is completely determined by based on this 12 pt size, base size. So if you give 10 pt here, for example, then the 10 pt large is not the same as 12 pt large or the 11 pt large. Okay, 12 pt huge is different from 11 pt huge. They'll be small, comparatively small. Okay, depending upon the base size, you need to determine whether you want a larger font or huge font. So once you define the base font, compared to that, in comparison with that only, the font size will be enhanced or decreased. That's the most important thing about LaTeX. This is about increasing the font size. Now, the reverse thing also we need to probably know. But remember that most of the times is increasing the font size is not really necessary in LaTeX. We will see uh, this is why, because LaTeX is structured in such a way that making the font sizes randomly here and there may not be actually necessary most of the times. We don't require that. We will see that how. Okay. Okay, if you want to ask me anything related to whatever we have discussed so far, you may please ask now. Or otherwise, I will be continuing with making fonts smaller. So we have making fonts smaller and making some special type of a special type, changing the fonts slightly. That these are the two important things that is left for us for today. So if there is any question, you may please ask. Okay. I am going to make a small size fonts now. So for making small size fonts, as in the previous case, as in the previous case, we will start with something small. We are starting with something usual, something normal, not small, normal. We can, by intuitively guess that the commands that we are going to use are small. That is the very first thing. Small text. Let's compile and see. Okay. Next is footnote size. Footnote size means that the way in which we are writing footnotes below a document. Footnote size. Footnote size. Okay, that is smaller. Okay, what after that? Maybe script size in the sense that the way in which we are writing subscript, superscript, x raised to 2, x2, like that. Script size. Tiny. So tiny is the smallest. I have copy pasted this. So these are the, okay, if you want to clearly have a look at the way in which it's increasing, I will put it on the top of this. So this is now in the increasing one. Let us see. Not in the, oh, not in the increasing order. I should have reversed the order. Maybe I should have kept this tiny on the top. Script size, the next. This is the next one. This one is the least one. So all the font sizes available are here. In the Google document, you may copy paste. Okay. So this is all about the font size. Now, if you ask that, is there any way to explicitly say about giving a font size, just as in the case of Microsoft Word? Of course, there is a way, but these things are not very standard. And most of the documents, if you are trying to prepare a what you call usual article or research article or research book or textbook or project report, these font sizes other than these are not really necessary. But when you're trying to prepare a poster, suppose that you're trying to prepare a poster, sometimes you may require to you may want to create larger and larger fonts. Okay, but those situations we will discuss later. That still you can specify font sizes by specifying numbers, but we will come back to that later because that is not a part of the what you call a standard set of features of it in LaTeX. That's something different. Okay, so that's all about font sizes for the time being. We will come back to the font sizes later when required. Now we will go into font variants. Instead of font sizes, we will go into font variants. Okay, font variants is the next thing that we want to discuss. By font variant, what we mean is, okay, I'll create a new file first. So it may be necessary sometimes that during the document we may want to specifically say something, right? Specifically something in the sense that suppose that we may want to emphasize certain things. Suppose that sometimes we want to make something into bold. We want to see that this is, we want to make something strong. Okay, we may want to do all these things, right? So in such situations, we may have to use some extra commands like how to make it bold, how to make it italics, how to make it in italics, how to make it slanted, how to underline it, how to overlining is not usually necessary in the case of usual text formatting, but underlining may be necessary. So we will focus on these things. Okay, initially, let us type some text. And of course, how to make capital, how to make small letter, how to make uppercase letter, all these things are there. So a sample text. Maybe I will copy and paste something from the Wikipedia so that it'll be easy for about Srinivasa Ramanujan. Okay, I'm copying and pasting something from the Wikipedia to save some typing. This is a new document, font variants. Let me copy this to Google document. Okay, done. Now, suppose that in the Wikipedia page, if you look at the Wikipedia page, probably the name Srinivasa Ramanujan is appearing in bold text. So, how do we make it bold? Text in bold face. That's it. Srinivasa Ramanujan. So, if you notice, there is a difference between the way in which we increase the font size and the way in which we are trying to apply this text in boldface. The font size we increased, for that we applied this curly brace before the command, before the beginning of the command. But here it's not like that. Here it's after the command we are putting some curly brace, and once again when wherever we want to stop the effect of the command, then we are again putting a curly brace. Therefore, this much text, this much text. This will be made into boldface. So I don't know why exactly this is happening. So this is probably because the commands are created probably for different purposes, or different people might have created this increasing font size as well as text BF. That's also quite possible. Anyway, the way in which we are using text BF is backslash text BF, and after that you put a curly brace from where you want to make it bold, and put another corresponding closing curly brace where you want the text BF command effect to be stopped. Okay. Okay, let us see the effect of this. I have copy pasted this to Google document. Combine. You must see that Srinivasa Ramanujan was an Indian mathematician who lived during the British, etc., etc. Okay. Now, suppose that who lived during, we want to, who lived during the British rule, we want to emphasize. Suppose. Emphasize means make it slanted. Not exactly slanted, italics. So British rule in India is emphasized. You may see the output of this. British rule in India. See, this is how in LaTeX we are processing text. We simply say LaTeX engine that this is what we want. We want to emphasize the following text. We are not at all selecting, we are not at all doing anything on that text. We will simply emphasize it. We want large text. We are giving instructions. So in the instructions are LaTeX commands. Once we give the instructions, LaTeX will simply LaTeX will read that instruction and do according to that, provided that it's the instruction is understandable by LaTeX. Okay. Now this is emphasizing. So suppose we want to underline this. Indian mathematician is now underlined.
Sir, sorry for the interruption.
Yeah.
There is a message in the YouTube chat box that the screen is not visible.
Screen is not visible. But it's visible there. Have you tried to see that? Can you please check yourself that if it's appearing or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible, sir. It's visible.
I don't know. Maybe it's a temporary problem on their side. I don't know exactly. It looks to be visible on my side.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. It's
visible.
also visible for me.
It is visible, sir.
Okay. So this command, I think maybe that particular viewer can probably refresh. Just press the F5 button and start playing. If it's a temporary problem, it should be solved. Okay, now what I want to say is this is underlining. So underline command will, as usual, it will underline. So the way in which we are giving instructions to LaTeX is in such a way that whatever we have in our mind, we need to tell LaTeX using the command structure available in LaTeX. We need to clearly say that what exactly is what we want, and LaTeX will receive that command, and it will process the input according to the command that we have given, and it will prepare the output, and the PDF viewer will be able to show it to us. Okay, this is the way in which we are proceeding. So it will be processing. We will be processing. We will be giving the command to the LaTeX editor. LaTeX editor will pass the command to the LaTeX engine, which is actually the LaTeX thing, and the output will be shown as a PDF file in which that command will be taken care of. But remember that these commands, as I told already, they are case sensitive, they are space sensitive. Instead of underline, if you give underspace line, that won't work. And instead of underline U, use small letter, everything small letter. If you give under U as a capital letter, it won't work. All these commands are case sensitive. Okay, this is how we make a text in boldface, this text in emphasize, and there is another thing also. Mathematical problems. Okay, we will try to make it into italics. Text IT, text in italics. So mathematical problems. Is there any difference between the British rule in India, the italics word, and text in italics? Is there any difference between these two? Just check if there is any difference. Okay, I have copy pasted the entire thing to Google Worksheet. Now, I will ask you one more thing. So text IT and instead of that, text SL. I will come back to that question after this. That is there a difference between text IT and emphasize? EMPH is for emphasizing. So let me give another command. Text SL. Is there a difference between mathematical problems in text IT and so three things therefore. Emphasize, text IT. So there are three. There are three commands given which changes the size of the font, the type of the font. Sorry, I have updated the Google Sheet so that someone may try if they want. So is there a difference between these two? These three. Text IT, emphasize, text SL. You need to have a stronger, powerful eyes. If you're typesetting, if you're trying to typeset, you need to carefully look at these things. Is there a difference? You see that in the case of the text IT and emphasize, they're exactly the same. There is no difference. M, same M, A, see that A here, they are exactly the same. But here A is different. Okay, here A is different. This A and this A, they are exactly the same. So here MATHE, MATIC, that font is exactly the same as this. These two fonts are exactly the same. The only difference is that here MATHE, here this is slanted. Okay, exactly the same font but slanted. But here the font is altogether different. It's completely different. Here the font is not exactly the same as this mathematics font. The font itself is same. Therefore, emphasize and text IT changes the font and makes it slanted. But text SL, text slanted, simply makes it slanted. That's only slanting. But here the font is changing. A, a completely different font. Of course, the fonts are almost the same, but even then the fonts are completely different. In some sense they are the same, but they look to be different. A is different. Okay, text IT and emphasize works exactly in the same way. But there is one natural question then coming up. If text IT and emphasize text SL, you can now easily understand that why we are using text SL. Sometimes that may be necessary. But now the question is that if text IT and emphasize are exactly the same in their output, why do we require two commands for the same purpose? Are they redundant? Only one of them is required? Can we just simply throw away the other one? Okay. For that, I will answer now that question. Now, I will copy paste once again the same text of Srinivas Ramanujan. And try to see that why and where text IT and text SL are different. I have copy pasted that once again. So suppose that we are starting emphasize from here. Indian mathematician who lived during the British rule. I want to emphasize again, suppose. During the British rule in India. Okay, let us see the output of this. What is the output of this? What happened here? Can you observe something? So emphasize is here. One more emphasis is applied here. So two emphasizes. So remember that the British is actually inside the initial emphasize. But now, once you apply two emphasizes, the emphasizing has gone. See this. So the logic is that if you are emphasizing a text and if you want to emphasize something in between that emphasized text, you need to make it normal. You need to make it upright, straight. Okay, emphasizing means that if it is a slanted, if it is already italicized text, if it's already emphasized text, that text will be made into normal. If it's a normal text, that text will be made into italics. But text ID is not like that. Text ID, whatever happens, it will only convert the text into italics. That's the difference. So text ID is not safe always, because sometimes if our intention is to emphasize something, we need to either we may have to make it into italics or we may have to make it into non-italics. So in that case, emphasize is much better comparatively. Emphasize is the safest option. But if you clearly want to keep things in italics, you need to clearly use text ID. Text SL is used for keeping the text slanted. Okay, that's the basic difference between these two. Now, there are two other commands for which is going to be quite handy to us. One is to what do you call make text into capitals. For example, suppose that we want to type something into capital. Of course, we can type everything by pressing the capital locks key on, and we can keep on typing. But the problem is that after some time, it will be difficult for us to again convert it back into usual letter if required. Okay, so there are commands for making letter into capital. There are commands for making letter into small case, and there is something for making letters into small caps. Okay, I will type that. Srinivasa Ramanujan make uppercase. Let me check whether it's correct or not. Yeah, make U in capital, So, okay, let me copy paste the entire thing first, second paragraph onwards. I have updated the Google Sheet. Now saving it so that I got everything in capital. Okay, now I am. If I want to go the other way, for example, due to some reason, if I had typed something in small letter, and if I want to make it into what do you call it, the other way in the sense that make everything small. So the command is, as you can guess, make lowercase. I have typed it in uppercase, trying to make it into lowercase. So make uppercase is 1, make lowercase is 1. Okay. Now there is another font variant known as small caps. So small caps, yeah, you can see that. Oh, not small caps, sorry, text is, I forgot about the command. Text in small caps. You can see that these letters are coming in capital, everything in capital, but S is a huge capital because it's already given as capital. It has been made into a full capital or bigger capital. Everything else is capital but small capital. These are certain font variants, and something else is also there, like text in typewriting text. For example, sometimes we may want to specifically say something in the typewriter like font. Typewriter like font means that we know that it is just a rounded font. It doesn't look to be really nice or anything like that. All typewriter like fonts are there. Text TT. You can say that how does it look? Typewriter font, just like a typewriter font. I have updated the Google Sheet so that you can try this. There are three more commands that I would like to introduce today before stopping. So those three things are actually, uh, see, we have seen how to arrange text, giving some space here and there, and all these things. But we haven't seen that how to bring text to the middle. Of course, we can give some space here and there, and we can bring text to the middle. But that is not the thing. If you want to clearly place the text in the middle of a line, or if you want to push text to the end of the line, to the right side, right more side. So we have already seen that by default, text in LaTeX is justified. So we don't actually require a justify command. But for pushing text to the right or left or center, there are commands. You will see that. If this is fine, I am going to the next document. I am creating a new document. So that is arranging text or aligning text in some way. Text align. So let me move to text align. I'm updating the Google document. Okay. So for bringing text to the, okay, once again, I will use the same Srinivas Damarani. Let us ask his help for learning LaTeX also, not just number theory. So let us try to bring something, okay, but with this we cannot bring anything to the left or right. Okay. I will simply take only one word for aligning to left or right. The command one should use for bringing text to the center is this: begin center, end center. Compiling. Text has now moved to center. Let me say this here. So this is known as, see, this is just like a begin document and end document. You can see that whenever we have a begin document, we require a corresponding end document. Just like that, whenever we have a begin sender, we require an end sender also. One more important thing to remember is that this end sender, the spelling is CENTER, not CENTRE. Okay, the spelling we need to be really careful about because this is American spelling, and therefore we require CENTER. And whenever we start a begin sender, we should close begin sender. Okay, whenever we start a begin sender, we must definitely have a closing begin sender. This is known as the begin end combination is known as a center environment. So environment in LaTeX is something. So we can understand what is meant by environment. What the environment simply means that it is a kind of it's a kind of vessel in which something is happening. So begin center, end center environment is something where text inside that will be taken into the center position of the page. Okay, this is known as a center environment. There are different kinds of environment in LaTeX, and all these environments begin with the word backslash begin. Insert curly brace, the name of that environment will be there, and that will be ending with the end environment name. That's the usual way of typesetting things. Now, another is if you want to push anything to the left, but that is not usually necessary because most of the times what happens is that whenever we are typing something, it will start on the left. But if you want to left align certain thing, then this is necessary. So I told you already that text is usually justified, but if you want to left align certain things, this is necessary. So begin flush left. So justification is now completely gone. There is no more justification. You can see this. There is no justification here. See, there is no justification. Everything is flushed to the left. It is not trying to justify anything. So the command used is, the environment used is begin flush left and end flush left. I have copied and pasted this thing to the Google document. Now, you can easily now identify, you can easily understand that there is one more command available here. What is that one more command? The one more command available here is flush right, naturally. And you can see that whenever I am typing a flush right and I'm not changing the last, the matching command here, the end command here, there is an error message kind of error icon appearing here. This is quite useful. So even if you are using a software installed in your own system like Text Studio or Kyle or Text Maker, Text Studio, Tech Maker, Kyle, etc., then even there you will be seeing messages like this. You will be seeing messages like this even there. So I should correct it to flush right. Now you can see that flush right must mean that everything is flushed to the right. Everything is now flushed to the right. Okay, now one more thing. So suppose that you want to put something on the left side, left something on the, for example, suppose that you are typewriting a letter. So in that case, you may want to put the place and date on the left side, left margin, and yours sincerely, yours faithfully, something like that on the right margin. Of course, you are not going to use LaTeX for preparing for typesetting letters, because typesetting letters is something that can be easily done using word processor like Microsoft Word. But still, suppose that you want to put something on the leftmost margin, and on the same line you want to put something on the rightmost margin. Um, you cannot apply this flush right and the flush left simultaneously. That won't work. Flush right and flush left won't work simultaneously on one line, because flush right, whatever you are typing, that will go into one paragraph. After that only flush left will start. So for that, you need to either give H space. Okay, so just like this, place uh, place Malappuram. Suppose that we are giving it like this, H space say 5 centimeter, and then yours sincerely. Let us see what happens after this. Now the problem is that you need to actually measure that how much space you need to actually give, 5 centimeter or 6 centimeter, and 5 centimeter, 6 centimeter may not be exact. So that's actually a little bit difficult. But instead of that, LaTeX actually offers you a convenient way to just to fill the space in between with blank spaces, H fill. And maybe a no indent is also required. See this? Which one looks neat now? Yours sincerely has gone to the rightmost side using the H fill. Okay, yours sincerely has gone to the rightmost side using H fill. So this is how we write on the leftmost margin we want to write something, on the rightmost margin we want to write, on the towards close to the rightmost margin we want to write something. Remember that such a facility is not there in the case of Microsoft Word. If you look, a command like hfill or an option like hfill is not available in Microsoft Word, is what I think, because whenever you want to typeset something on the rightmost margin, you usually press the space bar, or usually put some tab key. That's what we usually do for typesetting certain things in Microsoft Word. And if you want to put something to the left and right on the same line, there is no other way other than pressing the tab key. But when you are pressing the tab key, the problem is that may not exactly fit. That may not exactly fit. That's a problem. Okay, because whenever you are pressing the tab key, it can happen that suppose that instead of yours sincerely, you change it to yours truly. Then there will be some extra blank space appearing. Again, you have to press this space bar. But suppose on the other hand that you have typed yours truly and you want to change it to yours sincerely, then 2-3 characters are appearing extra. Then you have to again adjust the tab. You have to delete the tab and you have to move a little bit backward. Okay, these things are happening in the case of Microsoft Word. But since here we are asking LaTeX to fill the space using hfill, you don't have to worry about these things. Even if you are adding some extra things, it will be automatically adjusted, and the space in between will be filled with blank space, whatever space is left. Okay, so how many spaces are left will be automatically calculated by LaTeX, and that much space will be automatically adjusted. That is how it works. So this is how we specify the what you call. This is how we arrange text on different sides of the same line. So what we have seen in this particular file is arranging things into the center, arranging things into the middle, arranging things into the right, left. Now, whatever commands we have learned, we can club, like we can arrange, we can put text BF in here. Any of these commands we can actually bring together, or make uppercase, that we can bring together. Suppose we club these two together, what will happen? So see, if you want to club two commands, what you have to do is that we have to put one command we have to type. After that curly brace, put the next command, again another curly brace. The number of commands you keep on increasing, the corresponding opening and curly braces also must increase. That's the only thing. So we can club in whatever way you like. But there are, of course, certain exceptions where there are certain cases in which this clubbing of the commands will not usually work. Only rare exceptions are there. So in such situations, you may want to find out some other alternate way for clubbing the commands. Otherwise, in most of the situations, clubbing these commands will work. Okay, most of the situations, clubbing these commands will work. I think we have covered whatever was promised to cover today, like arranging the spacing and changing the font sizes, giving different font variants, not different fonts. Different fonts we haven't covered. So basic font size changing, aligning the document, all these things, basic document preparation, all these things we have covered, and spacing also. And I think in the next day, as per the timetable, as per the schedule, we will be going into certain things like descriptions, lists, numbered, unnumbered, formatting, all these things. All these things we will go, and if the time permits, we will be going into something like typesetting mathematics also, because we will advance typesetting mathematics, in which we have much more things to discuss than in the case of usual things, because mathematics teachers and mathematics students usually require more things and things related to mathematics. Therefore, if time permits, tomorrow itself we will try to go into something related to mathematics, and then we will move into tables and related stuff. Okay, I think if there are any questions related to whatever we have discussed today, you may please ask now. I'm stopping the main lecture with this, so that we can continue with the discussion tomorrow. If there are any questions, please ask. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there any question?
I think we will wait for 1 minute for the YouTube audience to ask if there is something, so that it will take some time for them to hear whatever we have said.
Okay, sir.
1 minute we will give for that.
Okay. Sir, can we give feedback form in YouTube?
Yes, yes, sir. To anyone, it's up to you. Anything is fine.
But we can't
You please,
post the.
you please copy paste to in the chat box. I will copy paste that.
Okay. I already given in chat box.
Okay, let me see that. Shall I copy feedback day one, right?
Yeah.
Shall I copy paste this?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Students, I have given feedback form for day one, and it is mandatory for submitting this Google form is mandatory for your attendance.
I think there are no more questions in the YouTube thing. And one more thing is that there is a small change in the YouTube link because of something I did, some mistake I did. I think there is a change in the YouTube streaming link for tomorrow. I will send you that YouTube link to you tonight itself. Please circulate it among the participants. The new
Okay, sir.
link.
I will do
Only
that.
for tomorrow, I think the change is there. Otherwise, everything else is fine.
Okay. Okay. I will do. So let us stop here, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.